Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro.
And welcome to the RTO Show with Danny and Pete. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm your host, Pete. And today, we're talking about the closure of Season 2 and the departure of one of the guys who made one of the first rent-to-own podcasts in America, Danny. Danny, where are you going? What's going on? Talk to us. Everybody's been wondering where you've been at. What's going on?
I know. So I've been dealing with a lot of personal issues. You know this, Pete. You know more than anybody. A lot of family stuff going on at home. And I'm actually leaving the rent-to-own industry altogether.
No.
Yeah. So I just need some more of a home-work balance in my life at this moment. So I'm leaving Rent King. I'm leaving rent-to-own. It's a very sad case career-wise, but for my personal life, it's going to be a little better with the schedule. I'm having a Monday through Friday, weekends off. I'm going to a pool manufacturing and distribution company that we sell to independent contractors that build pools. So completely left field, totally different field. I started from the bottom, learning a whole new business, but I think it's going to be better for me and my family for the time being, at least so I can spend more time at home.
I think part of this episode, besides saying goodbye, is just sometimes knowing when you've got to make that change, when time is for you, right? Because we always talk about going out and finding new people. We talk about making things work. We talk about your showroom and how you get through new hires and how you hold on to people that you need. But sometimes we don't mention that this isn't for everybody. And sometimes even people that have been here a long time, such as yourself, sometimes, you kind of come up and you kind of do things that you never thought you would accomplish, right? And you start looking back and going, wow, now there's a lot more time behind me than in front of me. And what do I do with that? And you start looking at your life and start realizing that, you have to make it what it is. And at the end, whether you're in rent to own or whether you're in sales or whether you're in, construction, whether you're in anything, you have to have that work-life balance, because without that, whatever we're doing just doesn't last. So to recognize that, it's got to be a big thing, man. You've been doing this for 12 years.
Right under 12 years. June would have been 12 years. And, as we're sitting here already talking, I'm thinking about that episode we did, the RTO Family Effect. And I don't think we went into enough depth of the demand this industry places. Again, I love this business. I love this industry, but there is a very high demand. And you know this, it's not a 5-day-a-week job. It's not a Monday through Friday. It's as business needs. And right now, business needs is you kind of need to be there kind of all the time right now. And that's perfectly fine. And it was acceptable when I was able to dedicate myself to that time. I'm just not at this moment. But, if you're going to be successful, as we came up the ranks, nobody had to tell us when to be at work. We knew when we had to come in on our day off, when we had to stay late, when we had to come in extra early. And we still did that as DMs. We worked sometimes 5.5 days, 6 days a week just to get the numbers, just to make sure that procedures are being followed and productivity is being accurately conducted. And that's where I'm at right now, where I just can't dedicate myself that much right now in my personal life. So, but the RTO family effect, that was a great episode that we talked about, the effect that RTO can have you in your personal life and family if you don't have that balance. And that's the key. Like you just said, you got to have that balance.
Well, balance is probably more important than anything else because that dictates how your day is, right? So when you first get into it, it's that honeymoon phase. But after a while, you really see what the position entails and what you can do. And when you're a self-starter, when you're somebody who self-motivates and you find yourself not really being able to get to that level because you have so much on your plate, you got to sometimes, we did that show about realizing your sweet spot. Sometimes you got to realize what your end point, when your end game is too, and not necessarily when it's all over or when you're defeated, because that's not what we're saying. We're saying that there reaches a point where one has to be just as important, if not more important than the other, because yes, this is our livelihood, but we work to live and not live to work. And we have to make sure that that balance is there. So I don't know if everybody knows, but I mean, you're married, you've got 3 kids.
Yep. 17 years, 3 kids. Yep.
2 dogs, the American dream life, right? You got all the stats, you know what I mean? And that holds precedence. And how do they feel about you, after 12 years of making this as far as you have and doing as much as you have? How do they feel about, getting out of it? How does the family affect now?
Well, it's a little bittersweet. I mean, they understand that how much I put into my career and how much I've dedicated to be successful and to help Ranking out. So they understand the sacrifice I'm making, but they're extremely excited. They're happy that they're going to get to spend more time. I think I told you, and we did some number crunching just by having weekends off, just by having now guarantee Saturday off. That's an extra 52 days a year guarantee I get to spend with my family. So that's 104 days out of the year, which is almost a third. It's huge. My daughter, she just turned 16 a couple months ago. She's about to get her license. You and I both know when a teenager gets their license, when are they ever home? They're never going to be home, so.
Well, this is one of those things, like when you start putting everything together and you start realizing how much that we dedicate into this, just so that everybody knows out there in the rent-to-own land. I mean, we are district managers. We do work on the clock. We do work off the clock. And when we say off the clock, I mean, I don't know if we're ever really off the clock, especially when you're salary. But, there are nights where it gets long. There are nights where, the alarms are going off or the deposits aren't done right or computer problems or, you have that delivery truck out that's late. I'm not saying that it's bad. That's just part of the business. There's always the positives, but there's always things that, come along with it as well. And when you're trying to run a family life and you're trying to run a show and you're trying to get ready and we're really trying to do the best we can to push the envelope on what is in rent to own and how it's recognized and what's going on, it becomes a lot. There's a lot to do, especially when we're trying to do shows and we're trying to train our people and we're trying to get things prepared for the next step that we think is in rent to own. And then you still have to go home and you have to be dad. And you have to remember that, being a part of your family is always going to be more important than what you have going on anywhere else. Your family is important. And that family effect probably should have been longer. Probably should have been, we probably should have done a round 2 on the family effect, on the family effect takeover. We're going into this year, in a few months, we're actually going into do the RTO World again. We're going to go visit that.
What?
Yes, the RTO World is coming back around in the next couple of months, and we really want to be a part of that. But it's been a year. It's been a year since we started this show. It's been a year since we started getting everything going. And
that's crazy to think about. I mean, how many episodes you said we've done? Was it like 26, 27?
It's 26. 26 episodes. The closure of season 2 would be 27.
Right. So that's almost every other week for a whole year, basically, that we've been doing this.
It's squeezing the time in that we have, and making it work and trying to just get everybody to see that we have a passion for this, and I'm really sad to see you go because I know that there was a lot more that we had planned, but I know that you got to make it happen and do what you got to do. Now, the big question I'm probably going to get asked now that you're not here is there a comeback tour?
Oh, I mean, I will always be a guest if you ever ask me to, and you don't know where the path is going to lead me. I don't know how many people have left rent to own and 6 months later they're back, or a year later they're back, or a couple years later they're back. I can't predict the future. I don't know where this path is going to lead me. So is there going to be a comeback tour? Don't count it out.
For now, we're going to call it a guest. We're going to call it guest spots. Every once in a while, you'll probably hear Danny on the show. We'll bring him back to the RTO studios because even though he'll be doing something else, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have RTO experience, and it doesn't mean that he won't be a part of the show. Just kind of like extended family. He's going to be super extended family now, but add it to the show and kind of put 2 cents in and see what it's like to finally be outside of rent-to-own after 12 years. I mean, that's a long time to be in one way, and then as you leave and you kind of see it from a different angle and kind of see what the world has out there and how they see things and how they see us and kind of mash those together. So I'm sure that Danny will be on future episodes for God knows how many episodes that we have left. God willing, as many as we can make. But I definitely know that people were asking, hey, what's going on with the show and how things are. And there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. We are going to cut down. This is going to be the last of season 2, and we're going to make season 3 a little bit different. I hope you guys can enjoy what I have to bring because it's not the Danny and Pete show anymore. It's going to be just Pete and guests. So I hope they enjoy that. You know what I mean? They're going to miss you, man. They're going to miss you.
No, but I'm excited to see what you do with this podcast, and if you take it to the next level. I hope that you do take it to the RTO World. I hope that you do amazing things with it, get a lot of interviews, maybe do a live podcast while you're there. I'm definitely going to be listening. I'm still going to be one of your biggest fans. So I want you to take this thing and take this baton and keep it moving. Definitely keep it moving forward.
Well, we're going to try. A lot of times when I look back, I look at some of the crazy things we've done. I still remember when we got to RTO World not knowing anything about what we're getting into, 72-hour notice. And a third of that was literally in the air and trying to figure out the night before. And I mean, it was such a blast. It was such a crazy time. Thinking back on some of the crazy things that we've done or we've talked about. I mean, the pilot, our 5-minute pilot, that was like, who the heck are these two guys?
Well, I might have said this before, but I don't think people know, that was not planned. That was just straight shooting from the hip. We just got
that was off the cuff, guys.
We just got our equipment, and being the impatient person I am, I was like, let's just do it. Let's just record. Let's just put something out there now, because if we plan, it's never going to get done. And we did. We just recorded it and put it out there.
If anybody knows Danny's like, hey, we got this. We're going to do it. It's like, whoa, there was no planning in that. That was just straightforward, straight from the cuff, straight from the hip. We had no notes. Nothing really going on, but we wanted to tell you guys who we were and what's going on. And we were able to come up with a lot of different things that we felt were necessary to talk about. And I really believe that this is going to be something going forward. We want to bring you in-depth talk with some of the people in this industry that have been here a long time, that can give us words of wisdom. We've done ways to train your team to success as one of the episodes. And I think doing something like that is huge, but there is always something to learn. I really want to talk to people that are going to tell me and maybe put everything I know on its ear and just shed from a whole different light. I hope that you listen to those episodes.
Well, it's funny. I think our most download episode is actually our first one, the RTO 101 breakdown.
that was very, very, that was a cut and dry episode. Let me tell you, that was a very cut and dry episode. It was like, this is what it is.
Right.
This is what you can expect, right? Here's a legality over it. And, one of my favorite ones, I think we did that at the end of season 1, but one of my favorite ones overall was the Overcoming Our Failures episode.
That was a good one.
You got to look at yourself and go, I'm not perfect. What do I have going on?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's how you learn too.
Well, I mean, we're trying to learn now, right? I mean, you're taking that step to go out and make a change in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's one of those things that, understanding and overcoming the failures. And it's not necessarily a failure. It's just the speed bumps of life and how do you get through them and what's best for you and your situation. And if everybody, knows when you've been a rent-to-own long enough, it's a part of you. It's in your blood. And it's hard to get out of this. So to make that change, to make that effort, to get out of it altogether, it's, it's commendable, man.
I think one of my favorite episodes from season 1 was how to stand out from the RTO crowd.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking to Jen and in April, and I want to push that. I want to push that to everybody. If it's possible, I want to bring that to everybody with, of course, the RTO show spin. But I think a lot of what's going on right now is there's a lot of craziness going on as far as the economy. We got banks closing, and we've got, a situation where we're printing a whole lot of money out there. And there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of, it's a lot of turmoil out there in the economy. And when you have a selection of so many different places to go, how do you stand out? I think that's going to be more important than anything else. How do we shine out above the rest? How do we bring rent-to-own to the forefront? And, I want somebody to think about rent to own like they do Walmart. And that's probably a very hard statement, but I think that it's something that we need to do. I think that our advertising is different. I think that our care for our customers is different. I think our relationships are different. And I want to push that. I want to push that as far as it can go. And I know that you know what I'm talking about. It's different now that you're going to be getting out because I'll be doing this in a whole different situation. But I mean, the goal is still there. Get rent to own to be seen in the light that we see it in, and maybe not the moniker that sometimes it's seen on average. Because I really believe there's some hardworking, great people in this business. And if somebody just really got a chance to know us, they would understand, man, those are some great guys in any store, in any location, any company that's out there.
Well, I would highly suggest if anybody hasn't listened to that episode yet, How to Stand Out from the RTO Crowd, go give that one a listen. It's about 30 minutes long, and I think we provided some good tips and some good advice on how you can stand out individually and as a company. And I think that's something you could probably take to San Antonio this year as well. Maybe take some bits from that episode, talk about it, use that as a format to really help your presentation.
Well, I'm not going to give anybody any tips on this particular episode. I don't want to give away any of the goodies, but definitely everything that we've gone through. I mean, this has been an eye-opening experience just to be able to say that we have been a part of the first rent-to-own podcast in America that covering some of the stuff that we do every single day. And the format's going to change a little bit in season 3. We want to talk to a lot more of you guys out there and get your feel on current events, what's coming out, what's going on in the rent-to-own industry, how things work and how things have been working, what direction they're going in. These are things that we want to talk about, and we want to get that from you guys. It would just be nice to know what everybody else is thinking. We want to open up the RTO show to everybody out there and just kind of get your thoughts and feelings. You're going to see a lot of people coming through the studios, on future episodes and future podcasts. But right now, with everything that we have going on, it's going to be sad to see you go, man. One of our guest speakers, which was on the episode Turn Slow to Go, Teddy Curvin, he's probably going to make a comeback. He's probably going to come see us every once in a while. And he was saying it's sad to see you go, although he's done the same thing. He was in rent-to-own for a long time, and he had to make that change. And I think he understands more than most what you're going through and what he had to do. Now, he didn't leave rent-to-own completely. He does the sheds where they do sales and they do rentals, but he had to make a change as well. And he's doing very well. He's doing very good, but we still talk all the time, and he's going to be a guest on the show, just like I know you will be. But, it's one of those things you got to know where your limits are. You got to know what you can and can't do.
Did you ever think that you'd be going into season 3 of a podcast when we first started? Like, did you ever think it would get to where it's at, where we have listeners in Texas, Indiana, Pennsylvania, all that good stuff?
Probably one of the best things that I can say is sometimes you go into the fold not knowing anything. You go into something new blindfolded. But if you're willing to enjoy the experience, it will change your life. And I feel the same way. I didn't even know I didn't know the difference between, a voice mic and a singing mic. I didn't know the difference between one software and the next. God only knows. I had no idea coming into this. But I think coming out of this, it's changed me as a person. I think I'm a bigger person for it, in the sense that I've learned. I'm a better person than I was coming into this, and I can see things for what they are a little bit better now. It's changed my life, to be completely honest. It's changed my life because it's made me believe. And, when you first get in rent-to-own, you feel like there are differences between the lines, right? So you have Rent-A-Centers and Buddies and Aaron's and Magics and rent-to-owns and national TV and rental sales and all those guys. And sometimes you feel like there's walls in between, but the more you learn, the more you talk, the more you realize there isn't really that many. We're really all doing the same thing, and maybe a little differently. There might be a different secret sauce, but we're all trying to do it. And this is an industry, just like construction's an industry. This is an industry, and it really opened my eyes to the many people out there, the many great people out there who are willing to share their stories. Man, I'm just not the same person I was when we first started.
I do have something to admit that I was actually shocked about. What's the one thing that I thought was going to be a complete bust, and I was actually shocked by how many people actually purchase merchandise from the RTO show, the shirts. I really didn't think nobody's going to buy these shirts, but you got some people to buy some shirts, and they're out there. They're out there.
There are people out there rocking the shirts.
And who was it at Atlanta you said that was rocking the shirt?
Well, Adam Stark was actually rocking the shirt in Atlanta. And so it was, he got it. And I actually, Chris Cale Jr. was the one that was rocking it. And he had it out there, and it was nice. It was nice to see some of the support. I've got a picture of Leroy Steen with his shirt that I'm going to actually post up. He actually got one for him and his wife. It was awesome.
Yeah.
There's just people out there who I think believe and understand that there's a voice to be had. They want to get their knowledge out there of the things that they've amassed.
What you should do, honestly, is try to get a big group picture in San Antonio of people wearing the RTO shirt. That's what you should do. Make that a goal.
Well, I'm gonna have to sell a lot more shirts, but I think it's a good idea. That would be a good idea for anybody who's listening. If you guys are going out to the RTO World in Atlanta, let's get together for a picture, at least individual if we can, because I know everybody's got like a different time schedules and stuff like that. And let's take some pictures and post those up. That would be a great sight to see, to just bring in the RTO community together under the banner of the Rent Your Own Show. Also, I want you guys to know there is a spot opening up at the RTO show. If anybody wants to see what Danny does, and you guys want to sit down and kind of try it out for a day, let me know. Let me know. Is there anything that you would say to somebody who is going into a podcast or probably thinking about podcasts, or maybe somebody who wants to do something like you're doing before you exit, and say, this is what I would do, or this is what I've learned, or this is what I would take with me to be on the RTO show? What advice would you give somebody?
You have to definitely be a people person. You have to be outspoken. And you got to have something to say. And I think that's why we started the podcast, is that we had something to say. We have a message. What's the message? Is that rent to own is a great industry to work in. It's a great industry to learn from. It's a fun environment. It's not your typical 9-to-5, same boring routine. You never know what's going to happen. And there's just so much activities going on. And I think we wanted to spread the message out there and get everybody collaborated and together and say, hey, how do we make this industry better? And I think that was our message. I mean, would you agree or disagree? But that's my advice, is make sure you have something to say, and then don't be afraid to say it. Because the worst thing you could do is hold back an idea because you're scared nobody's going to like it.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space. Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too. Well, one thing I like about the show is that we aren't tied down to any one rent-to-own, right? It's an industry as a total and not one specific one. So, yes, I work at Ranking. Yes, I work for CPL Group. But I do like to talk to people from across the aisle and see what they think and see. Sometimes we're going to say things that maybe aren't popular. Maybe sometimes we're going to address things in the room, the elephant in the room. But I think we need to do that. I think as a total, there's no way we're going to grow as a company, as a corporation, as a business, as an industry, if we don't address those elephants in the room. You know, there are great things that I'm noticing right now, and I notice that there's a lot more women in rent-to-own than there used to be. They're doing very, very well. I think the diversity aspect is just really coming along. I think the new product that's coming through and the ability that we have to kind of share that with a lot of people, you know, sometimes people think that we're just the basics, but there's a lot that we carry and there's a lot going on. As a matter of fact, yesterday I went to a large furniture store, and I'm not going to say anything because, you know, of course I'm shopping a competition. I want to know what they got. And we got into a conversation, and it was amazing how much they didn't know about my business and what I do. And I think that, you know, having those personalities and being out there and kind of covering things, I would love to have somebody come in and kind of question the status quo on the show. And just, you know, have something to say, like you said, and just kind of bring that to the table in the forefront. And let's talk about it. I think that's what we do. We need to talk about it. We need to get it out in the open. And that's why I love this show so much. And that's why I love this industry, you know, because it's different. It's probably the most different industry that I could ever say I've ever worked for.
It is different, and it has its challenges, but challenges could be a good thing. You know, you have a sense of pride when you overcome those challenges. You know, that makes me think of one of my favorite episodes from season 2 was actually the very first one, which was setting goals. I think that's so important, not in just your career, but in your personal life. You have to set the goals, and whatever that goal is for you, understand there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be challenges, but you just have to stay committed and persistent enough to overcome those challenges, and that way you can become successful in your personal and your professional life.
There's a lot to work, right? There's a lot that goes into this. And we'll tell you, if you guys are looking, if you guys are listening to episode 1, or you're listening to episode 26, or you're listening to this episode in episode 27, if you guys have any ideas, anything that comes across, you're always welcome to email the show, hit us up on social media, talk to us. We want to talk to you guys because the truth is this. It's from our point of view. But there's a lot of different ways to see this business. There's a lot of different lights, right? As you're a delivery driver, it might not be what you see as an account manager or what you see as a GM or what you see as a DM or what you see as an owner or what you see as a franchise owner, which is a lot of what we're going to get to in the next season is talking to these people that we might not know what's going on. I actually have a few, interviews lined up with some people that I really want to talk to and really kind of want to pick their brain about this business and how did they stay in it for so long? Because as you can see, with what you're going through, it's sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult to sit there for 20 years, and we got some vets out there that are listening on they're knocking on 40 years. I know that Felix and O'Rourke Sales, he's been doing this for quite a long time, and I got to commend him for people like that. Dennis Rosen from Nectova, he's been doing this a really long time. That's the opposite end of the field, right? Then you've got like Larry Pivotal and Scott Shaler been doing this for 30 years or something like that. It's because they were in rent-to-own before they got their own openings, or Mike Tissett, who's second generation, or some of the other guys that are second generation. It's like, wow. I think John Cleat Jr. Is second generation. There's so many guys out there second generation, and it's like, what's their passion? What keeps you here? When the days that you wake up and you're like, I'm done. I'm done. Because there are days. I mean, who doesn't have those days where you wake up and you're just like, I'm just so done with this. I'm just gonna jump off the clearest ledge. And then to be able to come back to it, because it is difficult. How do they handle that home life situation? How do they kind of get through it? And what tips do they have? Because, one day I could be sitting in your seat, man, and somebody else could be sitting in mine. You never know where the RTO show is going to go. And I would love to hear how things are in a month or 2 months from now, or what you've seen outside of the box and what you can talk to us about coming through, and some of the different little stories that we can talk about the history. We have some stories, guys. We've done some crazy stuff. I'm not going to mention, anything crazy like jumping out of the boat or anything like that. But we've done some stuff where we didn't know where it was going to land. But I think that's
absolutely.
I just think that's where the show was all about.
Between the podcast, the commercial shoots, us running our divisions, I honestly want to say we were on the verge of taking RTO to a whole nother level, to a whole nother aspect of digital marketing. Because in a sense, that's what we're doing. Now, the podcast might not be for our customers per se. It's more of the industry and people inside the industry and learning how to be better at it. But it is a marketing tactic. It is a training tool. And then you got the commercials that we've done for digital marketing for Rent King. I loved the videos that we made. It was such a blast, having so much fun with Steve, Amberly, Sergio, and
Sergio, we still miss you. I just want you to know, Sergio, if you're ever going to listen to this, we still miss you out there, buddy. We have a great time, but it's always better with you around. We do have some new friendly faces, though, that came along, right? And they're doing a great, phenomenal job. Steve is an amazing guy who really, he's kind of been there for us as much as we've really asked him to. He's always been a heavy hitter with there. Amber Lee, I'm going to do my best to get Amber Lee on the show, just so you know.
She needs to be on the show. She needs to be a guest.
I'm going to try to get her on the show because I think that we need to hear from sometimes a different aspect of the same situation. Like she does the marketing. She's a marketing director for Rent King. And man, what we've gone through in the last 2 years and the transformation that the company has gone through as far as our marketing, as far as our branding. And I'm going to tell you guys, that's probably one of the biggest things. And we'll talk about that later on in some other episodes, but branding is huge. Creating that brand and creating what you see on advertisement and giving somebody places to go. It's been surreal. I'm just a normal guy doing a normal thing, but when you've been out, tell me it's not kind of crazy that somebody goes, hey, you're the guy. in that
Yeah.
episode. You're the guy that's doing that thing, right? I saw you. I know who you are, right? Or when we're standing in the showroom and I'm on, this always happens. And I don't know if you guys, if any GMs or any DMs, or anybody really knows, I'm a drifter. And Danny's the same way, because I've seen him do it. I think I got it from him, actually, when he first, when I was my first DM, and we're walking around, we get that call, and we kind of start walking the showroom, we just start walking the showroom, and we're, you try to do what you can while you're doing out there. You're having your conversations, you're looking at the floor, you're checking tags, you're checking package tags, and then somebody goes while you're on the phone, hey, that's you on the screen. You're like,
yeah,
time to put the phone down,
Happens quite often.
It's very nice. It's very humbling. It's one of those things, like, I've been blessed to be in the situation that I'm in, and I'm very thankful for people allowing me to get to where I am, and I thank God all the time. And I'm just looking forward to doing this as long as I can. And if the day ever comes where it's my time to go, I hope that everybody will enjoy it and miss me as much as they've missed Danny over here. I think I've had everybody and their grandmother ask me where Danny's been these last couple of the shows and what's going on and where he's at. And we've loved making this work, as Jen Troke would say from A-Pro, the dynamic duo. We've done everything we can to be as entertaining and as training and as forthright and as educational as possible without putting you to sleep. But times and things change, and I know that you have a lot ahead of you. I know that it's a bright future no matter where you go. We always appreciate you being here on the show as a founder and as a guest. We're going to miss you. I know we're going to miss you at Rank King. I know Larry's probably still mad at you. I'm just going to tell you right now. He's probably still mad at you. But I don't think he's upset in the sense that you're leaving because of whatever. I think he's bothered because he understands that you have a bright future no matter where you go. And I think he wanted that to be in Rent King and Rent to Own.
No, absolutely. He tells me all the time. He says people are built for this business, is in their blood, and I think that he's always seen it in my blood, the passion I've had it, and I think it's just a little bit upsetting for everybody knowing that I'm walking away from something that I was so passionate about. But again, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you and your family, and I feel in my heart that I'm making the right decision for this moment. Maybe 5 years from now will be a different story. 5 years from now, I might be back, who knows? But as at this moment in my life, I know that I'm making the right decision. I'm going on the right track for me and my family. And that's all the priority has to be right now.
Exactly.
But I'm super excited for you, Pete, man. I can't wait to see what you do with the show. I want to see you talk to so many different people. I want to hear so many interviews. I want you to take it to the RTO world, and I want you to blow this thing up. I want you to make me regret leaving. That's what I want. I want you to make it so big that I go, damn, I shouldn't have walked away from the show.
I just want you guys to know there's only one reference I ever want to make, and that if anybody's ever heard of American Idol, I was season 1 or season 1 and 2. There was actually 2 hosts.
Yes.
And nobody remembers the host's name because he's not important. No, we're not going to forget about Danny. And listen, man, I know you're going to take that passion that you have for Rentone and make it successful anywhere you go. If I get a chance to get something out of this, and when I say that, I mean the enjoyment of being around, the enjoyment of learning from new people, the enjoyment of seeing where this goes. And this is definitely, I want you guys to know I will never be rich working for the Rent to Own show. We do this for you, and that's 100% true. We do this out of dedication that we have to the Rent to Own world. We don't get anything out of it. There's no big money days, or there's no big paydays from it. There's no kickbacks. This is what we do, and we put on from us to you to make sure that you guys understand and see everything that's going on. Listen, we appreciate everything that's been going on. Danny, I know that you're going to take that passion and that successful mindset and take it to wherever you go. And if and when you ever come back, we will be here waiting for you. But if you guys have any questions or any comments, please hit up the show, Facebook, Instagram, The RTO Show. If you have any questions and you want to hit me up directly, Pete at the RTOshowpodcast.com. You can visit. So far, Danny's pictures are still there. We haven't really touched it like we said we're going to go into, because there's been a lot of negotiation, a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But, Danny's picture is still up on www.thertoshowpodcast.com. It will be there for a long time, but it will be changed to a founding member versus a current disc jockey on the podcast. And we're just going to go through some changes like everybody does. Listen, get your last bit of shirts. We still have a couple of shirts left with the Danny and Pete logo on it. It is going to change in a little bit for season 3. So we still have a couple of shirts left that say the RTO show with Danny and Pete. Then you're going to be rocking a vintage shirt before we get the new one going on. Again, if you have any questions, hit us up. Social media, Facebook, send us an email. And then, Danny's email is going to be up for a while. So if you guys have any questions and even ask him how it's going, hit up Danny at the RTOshowpodcast.com and just ask some questions. I mean, it could be an episode coming up in season 3 or season 4 where we answer some questions like, what the hell do you do in your day when you actually have time to do it? When you're not getting calls from 7 stores about what's going on and somebody's pants are on fire every other minute.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be sending you some pictures on a Saturday with me and some Mai Tais at my pool. I'm definitely going to be throwing that in your face a little bit.
I just want you to know that I'm going to scribble all over those pictures and I'm going to put them on the website. Danny and his Speedos on Saturday. We're going to put that on the show.
No, but in all seriousness, Pete, I want to thank you for your friendship, your partnership. Thanks for this journey that we've been on. It wouldn't have been the same if I started it by myself. Without you, I think we built something undeniably great and that it's never been done before. I really believe that in my heart. So I definitely want to thank you for being a part of this and for having me be a part of this and just taking this whole RTO show to a level that nobody ever thought it would take it to. So
absolutely. But I guess since this is the last one, I guess you do the send off.
So I guess for the last time, everybody, signing off. This is the RTO show with Danny and Pete.